Time now for this week's Goofy Award. Well, the impact of the on-again, off-again Trump tariff threat has dominated the news and seeped into every aspect of our society, it seems like, including national anthems, even Canada versus the US in the Four Nations Cup a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's an easy us versus them story, with President Trump as the villain. Not a tough sell, given that, well, before the US election, before the threatened tariffs, polls found that 60% or so of Canadians already disapproved of Donald Trump. But suddenly, kind of interesting, economic concerns have moved from the bottom of the issues for over half the electorate, to maybe most of the electorate, to the top. Although the more time passes, I got to tell you, the less I'm believing the sincerity of the newfound concerns for the economy as politicians look to gain political advantage. Because if it was really only about the economy, people would be weighing the economic impact of any retaliatory measures. Which brings me to this week's Goofy Award. Now, while I appreciate that much of the debate and response has been based on emotions fueled by, President Trump's comment about Canada being the 51st state, etc., and fueled also by our politicians trying to gain political advantage. But at some point, come on, we got to get real. Emotions are the basis for terrible decision making, no matter how satisfying it may feel in the moment. And there's lots of examples, but today I'm going to deal with only one goofy aspect today. Specifically, the grand announcement by some politicians and members of the public that we must retaliate dollar for dollar. Boy, that sounds tough. Nobody's going to push us around. The only problem is the U.S. economy is 13 times bigger than Canada's. Trade with the U.S. for Canada represents 34% of the entire Canadian economy. Now compare that to the States. It's only 2.8% of U.S. GDP. So for example, if you took the total trade number, estimated something like $765 billion, and we put a tariff on all of it, well, a third of Canada's economy would be severely impacted. But under 3% of the US economy would be hit. Doesn't sound like a winning strategy for me. I mean, it's so silly that normally I wouldn't bring it up. But it's frightening when I hear politicians from all parties and other notables playing on the emotions of Canadians and actually express the idea of dollar for dollar retaliation without doing any research. Make that any thinking on what the consequences would be. Those offering it up are not really serious about our economy, but they are serious about playing to Canadian emotions. And while that may be momentarily satisfying, that can't be the basis for Canada's response. That's all the time we have this week. Hey, I want to remind you, you can go to mikesmoneytalks.ca. Why not click on and get the free copy every week, about 3 times a week, of 5 Minutes with Mike. Take advantage of that. mikesmoneytalks.ca. Great stuff. Love the feedback, by the way. We got tens of thousands of people taking advantage of it. Why don't you? mikesmoneytalks.ca. And I can tell you, if you go to Money Talks tweets or you go to Michael Campbell's Money Talks on Facebook, you are going to get dozens of items that you are not seeing in the mainstream media, hearing in your radio or television news reports. But it's key to get the full rounded background to what's going on in the world today. So I invite you to join us. And again, best possible price, it's free. In the meantime, please, I hope you have a terrific week.